this vibrant ecosystem, those who lack the skills to spin the proverbial web of interpersonal relationships find themselves relegated to the frigid depths of solitude. Jonathan is one such unfortunate denizen of these depths. A curious condition known as autism has left him host to a number of idiosyncratic behaviors that turn even the simplest of communicational molehills into daunting mountains. And Jonathan is all too painfully aware that these mountains are not easily scaled. Yet today, he faces what is perhaps the tallest peak of all. Behold, the Squad. A marvel of symbiosis, a web of connections so thick as to be its own collective entity. For Jonathan, the Squad may as well be an alien organism, and him just as much of one to them. But this is an obstacle Jonathan is willing to overlook, for he longs to thrive as others do, to form his own connective threads, to know some state of being that isn't merely being alone. A bold evolution, no doubt. But he's come prepared. Being fully aware of his own communicative shortcomings, Jonathan plans to engage in a bit of mimicry, for though the nuances of conversation may not come naturally to him, there is no reason Jonathan cannot at least pretend they do. And if there is one thing Jonathan knows, it is how to retain the most granular of information. Now, that information will be put to the test. A final summoning of courage, and Jonathan at last initiates the friendship ritual. But all too soon, the enormity of the task at hand is apparent. The facade begins to collapse, old habits pushing their way to the surface. Jonathan at last decides to cut to the chase. And the Squad delivers a swift verdict. Failure. Jonathan has failed the friendship ritual. This comes as no surprise, for Jonathan is an inherently inferior organism, with all his face twitching and foot jiggling and other bizarre habits that only isolate him. He should have been aware they would never accept him, and had no reason to. They can only laugh. They laugh because he is not normal.
Because he is weird. Because he is a freak. You are 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 a freak.